get deep with this.
Yo. Hold on, Jay.
I
got you. I gotta do this intro. Yo, we back. Welcome to Gully TV. I hope y'all been enjoying the show, the vlog. Shout out to everybody involved. Hold on, pimp. The state parole, I'm getting a lot of response about the state parole blues episode that I put out, so I'm going to continue with that format. I got another one. I got a really good one for y'all. State parole blues episode 2. This is groundbreaking. I got a former correctional officer who went through the prison system, you know what I mean, and he's now on parole. You on parole right now?
No.
Okay, they maxed you out, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, he got maxed out. They maxed him out, but he's a former correctional officer, and he's gonna tell you about his blues in the state. So, give me a couple of minutes to roll up. I'm gonna get right back to y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Real Gully TV. Follow me on Twitter @GullyTV1. We'll be right back. State parole blues, episode 1. No, episode 2. Be right back. Jay, what's up? Go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'm Jay Worcester. I was a correctional officer at Erie County Prison for 6 years. I got sentenced to 2 years state time for a misdemeanor 2 first offense. And I'm here to tell my story.
Okay, you got 2 years, basically, allegedly. They say that you was a correctional officer and you was letting inmates, jump or just run wild. You was the CO that would look the other way and like you can get a fair one on your watch. That's basically what your reputation consists of, according to the newspapers. You would turn your head and let them get busy. What's up? You want to elaborate?
Yeah, man. I mean, everything the news printed about me was just straight lies. I mean, I never told my story to a detective. I had a lawyer from 1 hour of being out of the building. When the warden walked me out of the building and was like, pretty much I'm being charged up type stuff.
So they arrested you at work?
They never arrested me. I got to work and I got escorted by the captain to the warden's office. Pretty much had to sit down, was like,
soon as you clocked in?
The next day, the day after that happened. I didn't even get a chance to clock in.
The day after the incident happened?
Yeah.
What was the incident, the alleged incident that they said?
The alleged incident, what they said I did is that there was an inmate that was in the jail that assaulted my female niece, and so I basically told a couple inmates to go in on him.
Okay.
Is what they were saying.
Okay.
So where was I at before?
How did they go about proving that you did this?
I took a plea.
Oh, okay.
Because I never imagined I would have been roofed for a misdemeanor 2 first offense. You know what I mean? Like.
He thought you was gonna catch probation or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even house arrest, county time. I mean, what they sentenced me to was 8 times higher than the aggravated range. I shouldn't even have been sentenced in aggravated range to begin with. It's first offense. My prior score was 0. You know, I mean. But, yeah, I mean, none of that was true. I'm an only child. I don't have a niece. They printed that all over the place. Made it sound real close to home with that.
Right.
It wasn't the case. I had mentioned that the inmate that got beat, I had mentioned to another inmate the situation. Listen, this dude beat up somebody in my family. Wasn't my niece. Nothing like that, all right? Just mention it to him. Somebody I knew from the streets.
Okay.
Wasn't just, it was somebody I knew.
Okay.
So I left upon later that day or the next day is when he took it upon himself to basically round up 4 other cats and go in on this dude,
Okay.
So then they got me on video talking to this dude at the desk like I'm arranging something or whatever, and you know what I mean? So I just...
So after the conversation that you had with the inmates at the desk, they went and did that?
Pretty much like hours later, I guess, is what happened. He went and fucking told a couple people about it, and then this dude got out the shower. They leave your gate open.
Right.
He went in, they changed, left his gate open, they went in.
Oh, okay. Was it any injuries involved with the assault?
Nah, I mean, I was the one that walked him to medical. after it happened. I mean, he had like a paper cut on his lip. It wasn't, you know, I mean...
No blood, no nothing?
No, nothing, man. No, nothing. Nope.
Okay. So at what point were you implicated?
Well, they started investigating immediately.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, then, once that they seen that I might have had involvement or whatever, now they contact state police, whatnot, and then they do an outside investigation into it.
Right.
But...
So, you took your plea. What's going on through your mind as you going through the state system? Because you was a correctional officer for how long? You said 6 years?
6 years.
In them 6 years, I'm pretty sure you had some encounters with people. You probably had to write some people up, you know. During the, you know, you're running your job, you're playing your position. At some point, you probably had some conflicts with. Did you expect to encounter these people when you got downstate?
Absolutely.
Was that heavy on your mind that you would encounter some of these people from your past?
Look, man, when he sentenced me to state time, I mean, even the sheriff's deputies and stuff stopped me in the hallway, were like, I can't even believe what just happened. You know what I mean? Like, I got locked up twice as a kid. Okay. All right, before I got the job at the prison. All right. I went to youth forestry camp and I went to Newcastle Max. Before I got the job at the prison.
You was in Newcastle before?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So then, anyways, so I kind of, you know what I mean? I knew what to expect. I did time before, you know.
Right.
But look, man,
I can't believe they hired you and you was in Newcastle.
It was juvenile, man. It never showed up on any background checks.
Worst juvenile joint in the state at one point.
Yeah, bro. That in Dansville. You couldn't go nowhere worse.
Right. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
So, anyways, yeah. I mean, yeah, bro. It was just like.
What was your first day like at Worcester?
When the bus pulled up to Worcester, man, I was like, what the fuck is going on? You know, I mean, that's real. Western is, Camp Hill is Camp Hill, man, but Western is that dungeon prison. You know what I mean? That old school.
That TV shit.
Yeah, man. That
Shawshank.
5-tier, you know, I mean, yeah, Shawshank. Fucking rugged.
Okay.
Real jail, yeah. And anyways, I was in the hole for 12 days in Western. They wouldn't let me out, even though
After you did your clinic time, did they let everybody else out?
Yeah.
They let everybody else out?
Yeah.
But they kept you in?
Yeah.
Do you think that was for your safety?
Absolutely. The captain is the one that overrode everybody, I guess.
Okay.
Because I told them, listen, I got kids. I'm on commissary. I got to be able to make phone calls to my kids and stuff.
Right.
I don't want to be locked up, man. I'm not trying to go on AdSeg or none of that.
Right.
You know, put me in population. If I got a problem, then I got a problem, and we'll go from there.
Right.
But they were like, hell no. So 12 days I spent in the hole there, and then they shipped me to Camp Hill. Once I got to Camp Hill, you know.
When you was in the hole down Western, was you in that hole or was you in North Block?
No, I was in the hole.
Okay, so you was down there with the guys that's been in the hole for 10 years?
Yes. Yeah, I was down them dudes banging on shit all day, fucking wilding, man. Yeah, it was, yeah, dude.
What was that 12 days like in that hole, man, with them killers and the monsters down Western Penitentiary? And you was a former, did they know that you was a former
Listen,
CO?
man, that was my first week in prison, in-state prison. You know, my view was a 20-foot wall, razor wire, out my cell. You know, I know who's in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know what it's about.
Right.
And I don't know what to expect, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't. I honestly, I felt like from the time I got on that bus to go downstate that I was gonna have to fight for my life. You know what I mean? At some point in this stay, I'm gonna have to fight for my life, man. You know, I mean, there's guys I tackled in the county jail.
Right.
You know, I just trying to feed my kids, man.
Right. That was
you know
your
what I
job.
mean? And I seen them dudes downstate.
Did you?
Yeah, man.
Did they have anything to say? They was more so probably laughing at you.
Actually, I didn't hide my stuff from nobody, man. You know, like I said, if there was going to be a problem, there was going to be a problem. If I was to hide it and be, you know, a little bitch about things, then it would have made things 10 times worse.
Right.
So I never hid nothing from nobody, but I never had a problem. I mean, I had words with one person that, I tackled at the county.
Right.
And, you know, he brought that shit up. I was like, whatever.
What did he say?
He was like, I was in line at Camp Hill in our block, you
Okay.
know, and he had said something out the hatch.
Oh,
like he yelled my name, and I'm in line. You know, you got to be quiet. Everything at the Hill.
Right.
I look over and he's in the hatch like I remember what's up. You know.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. You know. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
I mean, and then I seen him one other time on our block. You know, within like that. You know, week I was there or whatever.
Yeah.
And then fucking. He went to his block, I went to my block, I never seen him again, you know?
So what was your time spent at Camp Hill like once you got out of the institutional imposed segregation because you were an officer?
Well, when I got off the bus at Camp Hill, I seen a white shirt, and I immediately, you know, stepped out of line like, you get your ass whooped for that shit.
Yeah.
You know, especially with them Western guards, man. And like, I didn't even give a fuck at that point, bro, you know? So I stepped out of line, seen a white shirt, was like, "How I talk to you," and luckily he was cool, you know.
Yeah.
Let me in his office. I told him what my situation was, who I was,
Yeah.
and like, look, man, I need to call my kids, man.
Right.
It you know, and so he let me basically sign a paper. I was in GP the rest of the time I was down, you know.
Oh, she had to sign.
I had to sign off, man. Yeah, basically saying
So
that
they
if
don't be
anything,
held liable.
if anything happened to me, pretty much. It was on me at that point, you know, because they were trying to do anything they can to keep me. I'm not, you know. Listen, man, I could have done all of 2 years. I'm not doing that in the hole.
How long did it take? Because everybody know what everybody's down there for. How long did it take for the population of the guys around you to know that you was a former CO?
In Camp Hill?
Yeah.
Instant. Listen, when I got down there, they knew from the papers and stuff down there who I was. Plus, you got guys from Erie County that just freshly went down there before I got sentenced.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, my shit was all over the place, man. It was statewide.
Right.
You know?
You know what I always wanted to ask a correctional officer. When you got down there, did you take into consideration whether you treated people fairly?
Absolutely, dude. That's key, and that's honestly why I think I didn't have. Like I said, man, I could have been fighting for my life every single minute of this, or been locked down every single minute of that because you know I wasn't trying to fight every minute of it.
Right.
So it could have went either way, man. But I think the reason why I didn't have the problems, you know, that could have happened was because I wasn't really a dickhead like that.
Okay.
And you know, and I like I said, man, I've been locked up twice before I got the job there. Like I know people from growing up and stuff, man.
Right.
And you know, I mean, the only reason I ever had to like go like over the line as far as working at the jail is because somebody else went over the line.
Right.
You know, I mean, and at that point you know.
Did polarity? I'm gonna ask you about.
But
polarity.
there are people that totally abuse that and just do, you know what I mean? Yeah.
How do you now? When you was a correctional officer, you got a chance to see abusive authority. Now, when you were incarcerated, you also got a chance to see abusive authority. How did you feel? What was your conscience like? What was your conscience like?
Like as far as
let me rephrase the question.
like being on the other end of the stuff that I seen in the 6 years of working there. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, like it humbles you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It really it humbles you. I had, you know, I took my experiences of being in trouble and the stuff that as a juvenile, you know, to like help the situation. You know, I mean, you know, but like it really does it, you know, in an instant. Like I used to tell guys that when I worked there, like I could be in your shoes tomorrow.
Yeah.
I could go home tonight right now and something could happen and I could get arrested and be in your and it's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, just, you know, I mean, like I don't know.
Do you think when you came through the system, did they give you any preferential treatment because you were a former correctional officer?
No, if anything, man, they like shunned me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. If anything, they like, you know, it hurt as far as like the law
Yeah.
down there, it hurt me more than it helped me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, I had a couple cool guards.
Yeah.
You know, was there preferential like treatment or anything? No.
Yeah.
But you know, they were straight. You know, I mean,
Right.
they weren't dickheads about it. You know.
How did you get, in your 2-year sentence, explain to me how you ended up at Greene County, which is Pennsylvania's only supermax jail?
Off of a misdemeanor to first offense. You know what I mean? I went in front of the parole board after like 10 months of being locked up, and the guy at the parole board, I went in front of one guy, he basically trashed me. As soon as I got in there, he didn't even, all my programs were done.
Yeah.
Everything was done I needed to do, like, and I was ready to go, man, you know? And he was like, listen, man, how the fuck did you get the job at the jail? You know, all he cared about, he brought up my juvenile history, and
I'm a little puzzled by that. How the fuck do you become a correctional officer and you was a Newcastle Max, man?
Bro, 5 felonies.
If you're a Newcastle
5
Max,
felonies.
that means you're not the average type of adolescent
5.
criminal, whatever. And they made you a correctional officer. I got to question that too, but
5 convicted felonies, 2 aggravated assaults as a juvenile.
and you ended
Did time for it, convicted,
Yeah.
and got a job at the jail. And got a job at the jail.
Do you think somebody black would have been able to pull that off? Be for real. Say your record again, the assaults, the felonies, and end up being a correctional officer.
I mean, I don't even know really what to say to that. You know what I mean? I like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. I ain't reaching, Jay. I ain't reaching.
You know.
I have to ask you these things. This is Gully TV.
I hear you.
After you got the case, was there any? When you got to Greene County, were you in population in Greene County?
Yeah, pretty much. I was in like the Progress. It's like Progress CCC, where like you go to Greene County, but then you're in like a part that's like, I don't know, man. It's almost like at the halfway house is to the jail here type stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's still completely locked. You're still part of Greene County, bro.
You was behind the fence and all that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. You know, your yard is.
How
like,
much did you encounter the population down there? Would you see them? Would you encounter them? Would you be in the same corridor?
Well,
building?
everything is locked down in Greene County.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like I said, man. There's like 3 population blocks, and the rest is either death row or RHU.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Do you have any standout memory from the state prison system? Any standout memory, something that you'll never ever forget?
Pulling up to Camp Hill, man. I mean, when that bus pulled up to Camp Hill, dude, that's like, I mean, what? How many thousands?
Probably like 6,500, I think.
Yeah, dude, when you pull up, you go by them yards.
4,000 might be from Philadelphia. Right?
North Philly. You know what I mean? We're not just talking about Philly.
Right.
North Philly.
Right.
My celly was from North Philly.
Right.
In Camp Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
What did you think about the guys
when we pulled up to Camp Hill, man, you go by them yards.
Yeah.
It's all the blocks down the line, man, except for the old jail.
Right.
Dude, I pulled up as we're going down. I mean, there's probably 500, 600 inmates on each block in the yard as you're pulling up, man.
Right.
I mean, I was like, I'm gonna have to fight for my life, bro. I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking at that point. Like, this is it's everybody in the state, man. I mean,
What did you think of the body, the Philadelphia body at Camp Hill? Because that's kind of what they got their own, they kind of like the government when you get there.
You got wildcats from everywhere down there, man. I'm be honest with you. There were some dudes from Pittsburgh that, I mean, Erie cats, same thing. It's, I mean, I don't know, like, the cats that scared me the most were the dudes with big numbers.
Yeah.
It really didn't matter how big you were or where you were from.
They had the blocks.
You got 50 to 100 years to do, bro. I know you don't give a fuck about me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
so,
You've been excellent, man. I hope you aired it all out, man. I appreciate you for sharing with Gully TV. Go ahead and give me a sign out, man. Give me your name so they can look up the case law if they want to check it out for themselves.
My name is Jason Worcester. Google that. You'll find everything you need to know, man.
Spell it.
Worcester, like Worcester, Massachusetts.
Right.
And I'm also heavy into dope photography. Odio Puro 75 on Instagram. Dope shit. Check that out.
Right. All right. I appreciate you, man.
Good luck.
Appreciate you sharing.
Sweet, get the hill.
The incidents, yeah.
Well, I was in R block in medical for 14 days, where most people was like 5-7 days or whatever, and so after like 14 days of being in there, they sent me to H block. I get to H block like first week. H block like 2 suicides, some dude got fucked. Some old man got taken in a hole for straight wilding, like trying to fight somebody that wasn't even there.
Right.
And like 2 stabbings all within the first week that I was at Camp Hill on H block.